And we're live. Isn't this magical? How are you?
Hell yeah.
Come on, this is a great day.
It is a great day.
This is a very special day here at the compound. We have yet in all these years to have both of our amazing yoga teachers here at the same time. Zach obviously has been a coach and a close friend for many years, doing a lot of yoga content over the years. I mean, if you can go back 5 years now and see.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Older yoga videos with you. Jen is our current yoga instructor. You've been teaching us yoga for over 3 years now.
Time has flown.
It's amazing.
Yes.
She comes every single week and tortures us. I mean, teaches us.
A little bit of torture too, yes.
It's by far, and we've told you, it's the hardest workout of the week for us. It's the one that I'm like, I won't be intimidated by our team workouts when we have like all our friends come on Thursdays, but like on Wednesdays, I start to get like that nervous feeling.
Those butterflies. Oh gosh, it's yoga time.
It's very hard for me. It's very hard.
They smile the whole time, though.
We do and joke, and we have a good time.
Laughing yoga.
We do try to make you laugh.
Oh yeah, I laugh a lot too.
Yeah, we do. Yoga's fun. Yeah. It's when you're like a muscle type guy and somebody that's not really flexible and not doing yoga on your own. Oh, yeah. I think people who do yoga, that's your lifestyle. It's infused into a lot of your training and you're doing it throughout the week. Whereas like muscle building people, it's like, all right, I got my yoga in.
Yeah.
Now I'm good. And I still do some mobility work, but it's tough for me. So
yeah, it's breaking through the tightness, no matter what, no matter what level you're at. You know, you got to get through it.
Why do you like it so much? We got some good stuff coming today, by the way. A lot of fun stuff with the two of them showcasing their many talents. But whatever really got you into it to begin with?
I think it was the emphasis on the breath. You know, regular exercise, I mean, you'd say, okay, inhale, exhale, but there's not that much of an emphasis on the breath. As with yoga, it's all about the breath.
Yes.
And then also, you know, I started yoga after the military. I was tight. I was just focused on muscle building. Tried out yoga. I like that it was more of a moving meditation, you know, and obviously you get your mobility in at the same time. But for me, it was more of the breath and the being in tune with my body.
The mindset, all the other benefits of it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the breathing element, it is obviously very calming. It does have a meditative aspect to it, right? Even if you're moving the whole time, you're not actually meditating, but the way you're breathing and calming and thinking about it and it does. And then doing the ohms at the end and stuff.
Yes, you're very good at the ohms.
I'm getting good at the ohms.
All you guys are.
Yeah,
but I always hear Chris like really ohming it out.
Yeah, I love it. I love my ohms.
Yes.
Listen, I want both Jen and Zach to show you some great stuff, some of their favorite moves for opening up certain parts of the body here in just a moment. Before we get there, though, we have to share with you our amazing Halloween getaway spooktacular contest video. We need you to see it. Maybe you've already seen it, but once it starts, you can't take your eyes off of it. This guy in the video, he's amazing. He's a dear friend of mine.
Yeah, who is that guy?
Yeah, Crazy Ralph.
Ralph.
He wants to tell you a little bit more how you can enter, how you can get a $100 Amazon gift card just for watching today's live, how you can get some of our free stuff, our free jump ropes, our sliders, our shaker cups, books, and mini bands, and how you can potentially win a $5,000 trip for two anywhere. So amazing stuff. Check this out. We'll be right back with Zach and Jen.
YouTube channel. It's the Halloween Mega Contest Spooktacular giveaway. We're giving away sliders. We're giving away jump ropes. We're giving away mini bands. Don't forget, we got shaker cups and recipe books too. And you too can be a winner, but it's for a limited time only, ending in October. While supplies last, claim your free gifts at the links below. Oh, but that's not all, because with every live stream, we're giving away a $100 Amazon gift card. What? Click that notification bell so that you too can be a winner. Oh, but wait, there's more! When you click the link below to claim your free gift, you are automatically entered into a dream vacation for 2 Garmin smartwatches and a home gym with adjustable dumbbells and adjustable bench. Feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders? Maybe you need that dream vacation. You're running out of time. Act now and claim your free prize. Don't wait any longer. Jump right into the competition. Slide right on down to the links below to claim your free prize. Free! Free, free, free! Free, 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 free!
Staying down?
We're back. We're good.
All right,
Right, yes.
so now that crazy Ralph or Chris is gone,
Oh, it's Ralph.
it's Ralph. So we're just gonna talk a little bit about heart openers, right? A big portion of yoga, the whole subcategory of yoga poses is heart openers. And I think that we can all use a little bit more of an opening. So what is a heart opener anyway? Basically, it's a stretch that opens up the front of the body, right? So many of us have jobs at computers,
Right, or you're
driving
sitting,
all
yeah, I was
day.
going to say, sit in front of a wheel and you're closing off instead
Yeah.
of opening up.
You're in this
So,
closed off position, forward head, right? Your chest is tight,
Yeah.
especially people who hit the gym a lot, like the
Yes.
guys here at the compound.
definitely. They
You
always
know,
need it.
Chest day, right? Chest day, best day. Guys who go to the gym love chest. What that does though is it creates this forward rounded posture, which causes all types of problems. So heart openers are a great part of yoga. And so we're just gonna take you through some of the easier ones, and then we're gonna go over our favorite
Yeah.
heart openers.
That you can build up to over time,
Yeah,
basically. So,
Exactly.
all right, so do you want to maybe try getting on the belly and doing that open wing
Yeah.
pose first? This is a really nice shoulder opener. It can be as gentle as you need. Yeah, I think if we kind of go the same way, that would be good. So you're going to go to the, okay. So go to the right. We're going to try to make this work consecutively. Yeah, we got it.
So
All right.
actually, so depending on the person's shoulder anatomy, I know it's usually done with a straight arm.
Yeah.
But I actually, in my classes, I direct that they can do it with a straight arm or actually 90 degrees.
Yes.
It hits it a little bit
I
different.
teach that too sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this is yoga. I also say this in my classes where I say, listen, I'm just offering suggestions.
Right,
Like,
yes.
You are your best teacher. So that's all we're doing here is we're showing you some suggestions, but you're the one that's supposed to experiment, see what works best for your body, because, hey, we all have different anatomies.
Well, and that's what yoga really is about, being like the witness to your practice. So you can take it outside of your practice and get to know yourself in daily life too,
Yeah.
So yeah, so what he was saying, what Zach was saying was if you bend the elbow and come in here, it's gonna release the shoulder a little bit more. So if you have really tight shoulders, right, to goalpost or half goalpost arm, I
Yeah.
guess, right?
See.
So we could do that. Do you wanna do that one and
Yeah, I'll
also
do this
this?
one. You can do
Okay.
a straight one.
You get that pec stretch in with the goalpost arm too, so that's kinda
From
nice.
here, you just use the other hand to push and lean over.
Yes.
And if your neck is not comfortable, you can always use a block or a bolster under the head. And then the leg, right, there's different variations. I like to do
Watching what
like
you're doing.
Jenn here.
Yes.
Like that's more advanced, right? So you can get a little bit of hip opener. A lot of people who are tight, I just tell them to kind of let their leg go straight because this isn't accessible. But yeah, this is
Right, yeah. So you can do that. And then I'm going to show this one too. This is cool. So if you want to take your left arm behind your back, you can go there. For people that are really open in the shoulders, again, this is something just to work up to. You can stack your palms. And again, this also becomes a situation where you want to rest your head on something, because right now when I'm doing it, I do it a lot so it doesn't bother me. But if you're new to this and you do have open shoulders and you want to take that bind, try to put your head on a block or
Yeah,
a
especially
towel.
for guys who have broad shoulders, right? If you're here,
Yeah.
then your shoulder and your head has a long distance to travel, so you might be
rest,
here,
yeah.
that's not comfortable, especially in yin, because right now all I'm doing is teaching yin. It's all about melting into it, relaxing the muscles, so
Yes.
that's why props are key, especially in yin.
And then we do both sides. We have to make sure. So we're
Oh,
just
yeah,
gonna do
we gotta
that.
do
Yeah, I gotta do both sides. So maybe 5 breaths. If you're holding like in a yin style, you could definitely hold for a minute or more, right, Zach?
Yeah.
How long do you have your students
I
hold
go for 3, about 3 minutes.
That's great, yeah. So maybe building up to 3 minutes if you're going for more of a yin practice.
And obviously, if you're doing more of a yin practice, then when you get into it, you don't want to go as deep because it's not about feeling an intense stretch. It's subtler, but now we're getting into the subtleties of yoga. Yoga has, you know, we think of yoga as being just, hey, downward dog or basic stretches that we all know, but there's all different styles of yoga. So once you get into it, it's like, oh, wow, this is a whole nother world.
Definitely.
Want to lead us do puppy?
Yeah, let's do puppy pose.
Melting heart, puppy, however you want to call
Yeah,
it.
they do have 2 names. That's true. Okay, so all 4s tabletop for this one. Starts out. Is that Ralph? Okay. Hey, Ralph. Okay, so palms start to slide out. For peeps that are really tight in the shoulders, you're going to right away take your forehead down. If you happen to be very open, you might be able to get long neck, lengthen spine, and bring your chin down. Most people, you start out with your forehead to the ground, okay? So you kind of just feel that out, like Zach said, and kind of witness what's going on within you and decide that. So it's interesting to talk down here too, but we'll hold for maybe just a couple breaths for that.
One thing too with puppy pose, so a lot of times I see students, and because I've seen that now, I do this cue every time, do it from the side, they kind of mistaken it for child's pose, where they sit their hips back. I always say keep your hips stacked directly over your knees as you walk the arms forward. So it's not like child's pose where the hips go back. Hips stay over knees, arms go forward. And if you're especially tight, I also just say bend your elbows, grab opposite elbows.
Nice one too, for sure.
So puppy pose is a great one. Really, you're not even just getting into the chest or the shoulders, you're also getting into the lats.
Yes.
Which a lot of people have really tight lats, especially people who hit the gym a lot.
For sure.
So those are just some of the easier heart openers that you can do. I mean, there's a lot of different ones, but now we're going to go over our favorite ones. And these are considered peak postures.
Right,
where
you build up to them.
you build up to them. So you would do what we just did, the puppy and the, what do you call it, open wing?
Open wing pose, yeah.
So that would be your
Shoulder
warm-up.
stretch.
So then later in the practice, you would be able to do what we're about to do now, which, what's your favorite heart opener?
Well, I was going to do wheel pose, I was thinking.
Okay.
And you're going to do?
I'll do camel.
Okay, so camel pose. All right.
So we'll do wheel first.
Okay, so with wheel pose, usually you can build up to wheel with a bridge pose, and I'll just show that really quickly. So for bridge pose, palms down at your sides, knees bent, feet hip distance, and feet parallel. Very important, more than even hip distance, that your feet are parallel, because we tend to want to let the feet, the toes slide out, splay out, and that's bad for the low back. It relaxes the hip flexors too much and then kind of dumps the weight into your low back. So I'm going to show you as you come up, pressing your palms down and tucking your shoulders under your back, chin away from chest. You're lifting, leading with tailbone, okay? And then you really want to feel that firm planting of all 4 corners of the feet down on the mat. If you're having trouble with this, feet can go a little wider apart. I just heel-toed, but I still kept my feet parallel. And still, if there's trouble, heels can lift. Okay, and so now I'm just going to show you this. This is something that you can build up to. I kind of like to go from your bridge pose to a wheel pose. So I go up and I extend. And again, this is something that you build up to over time. And you can take it into a pretty bow, extending the legs, doing whatnot, and just kind of playing from there. And so when I come down from any of these poses, I lead with tailbone again, and I let the chest come down first, and then the tailbone as I walk the feet away. You can stretch the body out a little bit, and then kind of just go from there.
Yeah, so I mean, that looked really good. I'm going to do it.
Cool.
Another cue too that I like, this is for more advanced students who want to get even deeper. I like to say send your sternum towards, in this case it would be the back of the room, but towards you. So right there. And then you said pretty bow.
Yeah, I like to straighten the legs in that one. It just feels good too, but it looks nice. Cool. So should we try camel?
Camel.
Camel pose, you do, and then I'll kind of do.
Yeah, so for me, camel is my favorite heart opener.
I love that one.
I mean, there's also a lot of different variations. You can do a flow with it. You can do 1 arm, 2 arm. So I'll show you a couple. Camel, it's important. Like when I taught this in power class, this would be towards the end,
Yes.
right before the cool down, because this is intense. So with camel, you start, right, let's say you're in tabletop, you come up to your knees. Now the easier version is actually to tuck your toes, and you want a straight line from knee directly back to your foot. So you're not like this and you're not like this. From here, you want to think of this back bend as starting from the top of your head, moving all the way down, hips go forward last. And for beginners, I always say, put your hands like this right on your low back, kind of support your low back that way as if you had back pockets. And then again, from here, start from the top. So first for the head, hug the shoulder blades together, let your heart go forward. Finally, let the hips go back. And if it's comfortable for you, you can let the head go back. If that's nothing for you, you can bring one hand to the top of the heel, extend the other arm. And if it's right for you, both hands can go back as you let the head fall. And then as you come back, it's just as important. I like to cue, bring hands back to the low back, and then one vertebrae at a time. Slowly come back. Nice and slow, maybe a cat-cow or two, and then you can do the counter pose, which in this case would be child's pose.
Yeah.
Another version that I really like, well obviously, so I did that with my toes tucked.
Yes.
Next version would be
Full version.
full version is tops of the feet down. You can actually relax more into this. I love this version. But then the flow that I really like is you start with one. It's also about the breath, right? So as you extend, you breathe, really opening up the side of the body. And on your exhale, you kind of, if my left arm's going back, you reach to the right and then slowly come back.
Yeah, I like
Circle, left hand comes down. Inhale, boom, switch to the other side. So this is just more advanced, right? The cool thing about yoga is there's so many different areas you can go, and yeah, you want to try?
I can maybe add a couple cues that I use
Yeah.
in my class. Yeah, definitely. So the one thing is whether your toes are tucked or not, whether the tops of the feet are down, what I'll usually do, exactly what Zach said, I have the students come to hands to hips. I reach up first just because I like the sensation of feeling like the upper body is lifting apart from the lower body. Especially if you have any low back issues, you want to maybe start like this. And then to help it along too, you're actually going to grab the glute area, the top of the glutes, and pull down a little bit. That's going to help decompression too. So if you have any low back issues, and sometimes camel, people want to avoid it because of their low back issues. So I found that this is very helpful, and then drawing the elbows way back behind so that you're really opening the upper back and shoulders. So when you come back as much as you need to, again, whether you're modifying with toes tucked or not, you have the option to grab the heels. Now, I grab from the inside just because when I energetically pull the heels gently away, I'm internally rotating my thighs more. So then you're not, again, getting into that relaxed hip flexor position and dumping weight into your low back. So you can go maybe a little deeper or not.
It also helps open up with the fact that she had her hands on the inside. It helped her arms rotate, so she had more of that heart opening that we want.
Yes. So that kind of helps me, so I cue those things.
That's cool. I like that. I like that idea of, that reminds me too, do never go into camel with your hips flexed.
Right.
So that's a cue that I always do. I don't know, I forgot it this time, but I always tuck the tailbone, right? So never go into flex because all that compression right there in the lumbar spine. So that's where Jenn's cue comes in, where you put the thumbs and you tuck.
Yes.
Right? So always go in that tucked position. So yeah, those are some of our favorite heart openers, right? Obviously, don't go right into it. Warm up to it. Do the open wing or
Definitely warm up.
Open wing. I like that name. I never called it that.
Okay, really? That's funny.
Melting heart.
Okay.
There's several others that you can find, and then lead up to that into the wheel. You can do a couple rounds of
Bridge
wheel,
first, and
bridge, then wheel,
Yeah.
camel. Yeah, that's the cool thing about yoga, right? There's so many variations. You can bring more stillness to it and hold it. You can bring more fluidity and flow with it. So, yeah.
Remind us what the heart opener means.
Heart opener is just a term for yoga as opening up the front of the body.
Yes.
Specifically the front of the, when you refer to heart openers, front of the upper body. So we say heart, we're opening up the chest, we're opening up even the front of the neck by letting the head go back, the front of the shoulders. And that just allows us, I mean, think about it from an energetic standpoint. If you're tight here, right, if you have tight front of the body, all this constriction, then you know, in the energetic sense, your heart is where joy, where love, where compassion comes from.
Yes, it can also be very emotional.
Exactly.
For sure.
So by opening it, you might feel more. You might feel more
Yes.
emotions.
It can be a release, definitely, a nice release usually, but something maybe that you experience, and again, coming back to that witness thing that we have in yoga where we're aware, we're cultivating this deep awareness for what's happening within us and kind of watching it, experiencing it, but watching it more than anything. And that's kind of what mindfulness is, I guess.
Yeah.
And it all
It's like
ties
being
in.
able to kind of take a bird's eye view from what's going on, and that helps you, you know, not identify with your thoughts or your emotions.
Yes.
Say they come from you, but they are not you. And that
Yes.
just helps that little bit of separation, so you can be like, oh, like
Step
I can,
back and
you
I'm
know,
okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm not that emotion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like reflect on it. Be like, what does it mean? But it's a whole nother topic.
Goes real deep.
Yeah, that's a rabbit hole. So
Are there any yoga poses that perhaps they shouldn't try at home?
shouldn't.
Shouldn't do. Maybe they watch on YouTube and they're seeing weird stuff.
If you try handstands, or any inversions,
inversions.
use a wall.
Yeah.
And if you do, oh, this is key. If you do headstand, you're not supposed to put no weights on the head. It's the
Yeah.
upper body.
You have to be
that
careful of your
supports it.
neck.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you go into a headstand and people will like think that it's all right here. No, there's actually, if you're doing it right, there's little to no weight. You should be able to slide a credit card or something under your head because it's your upper body supporting
right.
you. The only one that I think would be, but I don't even do it. Is the one where it's an inversion, but you're on your head and was it tripod? I don't like that one.
You mean like headstand
Where you're
tripod?
like this?
Yeah. Yeah, so that one's definitely one that could be better off with an instructor.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can do it. You just have to place your hands back a little bit more. Almost like, because think about tripod, you're creating a triangle. And a lot of students, they'll bring their hands too close to their head, and that's why it gets narrow and they fall back.
Yeah.
So yes, probably best with an instructor. Can be tried at home, but just make sure that you read through any sort of instructions first. But like I said, creating a triangle with the crown of the head, the hands down far enough so that when we go up, and I can show you from the side, I should have my hair up, but that's okay. So this is like the easiest way to start it, kicking the knees up on top of the triceps, and then one leg can go up, and you can practice with the other coming up.
So if you had to say right now, how much weight is on your head and how much weight is on your hands, percentage-wise?
Well, with that one, it's tricky because of the fact that you can't control it quite as much as you can in the forearm
Yeah.
one. But that one, I would say probably more like 30%. But
On
I
your
agree
head?
with you. Yes, but I agree with you with the other one. So the forearm version, I should be able to lift up into forearm stand. That's how light I'm on my head.
Yeah.
So if I go up, and I don't know if I can do forearm stand right now from this, but I can at least show you this when I go up. Okay, and I'm just gonna pike up because it's easy enough for me because I do it a lot. But I have very little weight on my head right now. Okay, and yeah, feeling like I'm not gonna lift my head up, but sometimes you can actually lift your head up from this position and come into like a little forearm stand situation. So
So,
that's how light.
yeah, when it comes to inversions, use a wall. So that way if you fall, you
Yes.
have the wall to save you. And yeah, if you're gonna do anything that involves you having your head, just make sure that you're using your other parts of your body to support it. Because that's just, if you put too much weight on your head, that's a lot of compression right there.
Neck. It's true.
And don't move your head. So like if you're in an
Yeah.
inversion and you have weight on your head, don't look left to right.
That's right.
Yeah, even if your dog's over there and it spills stuff and you're in the middle of a handstand or a headstand, don't look at your dog.
Yeah, probably
get
not a good
down
idea.
Because not only are you going to compress, but then you're rotating all that torque force right there in the cervical vertebrae. No go.
Yeah.
So inversions, they're awesome, great, so many benefits, but yeah, be careful.
Yeah.
Any beginner tips for those starting out? We got questions from the chat.
Beginner tips.
Hips.
They've never done it before.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I would say go to a beginner's class.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do, definitely. I mean, you could do some things at home. There's we have nice light flows on this station and everything like that. But I would say what Zach said is the best thing to do. If you're just starting out, it's really nice to go to some classes and get into the flow of the style of yoga that you're practicing. And then you can practice, you can have a home practice too once you get to know the poses and what you're supposed to do with the alignment.
And I would say specifically go to a beginner's class.
Yes.
Because the way I started, don't do what I did. I started with Hot Power 2,
Oh, yeah,
which
yeah.
was like
Dove right in.
super hot. Yeah, and the problem with that is yoga is all about the alignment.
Yeah.
Right? So yoga is working off the meridian systems, and these postures are based off of that. So the alignment is key to line up the energetic levels of the body. So alignment is key, or else you can hurt yourself.
Right,
If you-
injury happens without alignment.
If
for
you don't know how to
sure.
do a warrior two, if you don't know that the knee is supposed to be stacked over the ankle, and you're over here because you're looking around and you're like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Like, okay, everyone's here, and you got this knee collapsing, like,
Yeah.
you're gonna hurt yourself.
Oh, and
So-
I've seen it in class. Not so much injuries, but like misalignment and
Yeah.
people looking like they're going to hurt themselves.
Which
So-
will lead to injury.
Well, and the thing is with the power classes, and I agree with you, I do call my classes all level, but they move faster.
Yeah.
So I try to tell students that walk in, you might want to kind of watch a little bit, maybe take a break or two, watch what's going on if you don't know the pose, and then take the pose. It's okay to take little breaks.
Yeah.
And child's pose is your friend when you
Oh, yeah.
begin.
Yeah. And another thing too, I notice this, and this is why I emphasize in my classes, these are suggestions. Like, just because a teacher is saying, do this, doesn't mean you have to do it.
Yes, that's
A
right.
good teacher usually will say, hey, modify based on
Yes.
what's for you, your body, your needs, how you're feeling today, right? It's like a daily check-in, like, okay, is that gonna work for me? No, not today, so don't do it. And another thing too for beginners, yes, it's about alignment, and that goes into what it looks like, but don't be super focused on, how it looks, more about how it feels. So if you look around the class and you're like, wow, she's really deep in that, and then you try to go deep, that might not be right for you.
That's true.
So connect more with the feeling. Yoga's about feeling and getting in touch with your body, not about, I know we love the crazy postures, like looking like a pretzel and stuff, but yoga's all about how it feels
Yes.
at the end of the day. So,
I agree.
One last question before we go to the commercial break.
yeah.
Any tips on any pre-stretching you would recommend before starting a yoga session?
Pre-stretching. Sometimes I see people, and I've done this too, doing some extra like hip flexor stretches. Maybe they want to go into a little squat or something. I mean, you learn when you're first beginning, you don't have to do anything in particular. I think you just kind of learn by going into the practice, doing it, and then you're so aware once you get that practice going of what's tight when you come to a class that maybe you're like, I need an extra, forward fold before I start class, or I need to sit on my knees because my quads are so tight, something like that. So, that's my suggestion, kind of just get into those classes, get into maybe a beginner's class, see how you feel, and then start to bring that awareness into your practice. The breath, everything comes together, and then you start to realize what your body needs more of.
Yeah. I mean, basically what Jen said, it's all about how you feel in that moment. But for me, I don't suggest any pre-stretching for yoga. I mean, that's why you're doing
That's why you go to yoga,
right?
yeah.
So it's like the pre-step, the step that I would say that you should do before any time you're doing yoga is checking in, grounding, right? There's always that little 3 or 4 minutes, depending on the class, the teacher, of sitting in stillness or laying down in stillness and checking in with the breath. In terms of stretches and movements that I like to do in the beginning, I just like to take the spine through its movements, right? So cat-cow, flexion,
Yeah,
extension.
those are always
I like to
good.
do thread the needle or some kind of rotation, maybe some kind of lateral bend, just to get the spine moving. Because if you think about yoga class, especially the evening yoga class, people have been probably working all day sitting in a computer.
Yes.
So getting right into the class and doing already downward dog and chaturangas and stuff, you got to move the spine, right? It all comes down to the spine. And so I like to move the spine before getting into...
Just get flowy with the spine.
Yeah, exactly.
Lower back pain? Anything you could think of?
Psoas stretch.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I would say, lower back pain, we feel it in the low back. So we want to, obviously you got muscles back there, the QL, quadratus lumborum, that can get
Yeah.
tight and locked up. But I mean,
A lot of it's front, like you
it's
said, the
front.
psoas.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, think about it. You're in a seat all day, right? Let's say I'm in a seat right now. Both legs would be here. But the psoas goes from your lumbar spine all the way down to your femur. So when you're always in the seated position, and then you go to stand up, right? It's shortened. You go to stand up, oh, it's short, and then you want to
You need to open up.
lengthen, and then it's like, oh, you feel it in the low back.
Yes.
So I always say low back pain, you know, low lunge, make sure you got that tucked tailbone. There's all different types of psoas stretch, but that's probably the most basic one. Yeah,
Low
say a low
lunge.
lunge, right? Where you make sure your knees, if you have sensitive knees, you have a blanket or something, and you just, the key, and this is with the low lunge, you probably see it all the time. People have such tight psoas or hip flexors that they go into it and they got all this,
Right.
this compression. Like if you think about it,
And they pop the ribs out.
pop the ribs
Yeah.
out, stick the butt out,
Yeah.
all this compression right there in the lumbar spine. So before you go into the low lunge or
Pull in.
almost anything,
Yeah.
pull in with the core, right, navel towards spine, tuck the tailbone, and you'll feel like, oh wow, that definitely intensifies it. All this is lengthening. You can then bring the arm into it.
Yeah, because it's more about the lift than because people want to take it, even if you're taking a back bend
Yeah,
in that, like people want to take it straight back, kind of like when we were doing in camel. A lot of times people want to just push into the hips and like come back. And I think you said something about that with the hips.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with low lunge. Instead of dumping into the low back and pushing the hips forward, lengthen and lift, like Zach said, and then you can come back a little bit. And sometimes you get deeper that way too.
Yeah.
So.
All right, we got a little video to show them. You want to say your goodbyes real quick? Thank you for coming.
Yeah, so we'll be filming some great yoga content, so stay tuned for that. And because you probably have not gotten enough of Crazy Ralph, he's going to
Crazy
tell you a little bit about this awesome spooktacular event we got going on. So enjoy.
Thank you.
You're on the Critical Bench YouTube channel. It's the Halloween Mega Contest Spooktacular giveaway. We're giving away sliders. We're giving away jump ropes. We're giving away minivans. Don't forget, we got shaker cups and recipe books too. And you too can be a winner, but it's for a limited time only, ending in October. While supplies last, claim your free gifts at the links below. Oh, but that's not all, because with every live stream, we're giving away $100 Amazon gift cards. Click that notification bell so that you too can be a winner. Oh, but wait, there's more! When you click the link below to claim your free gift, you are automatically entered into a dream vacation for 2 Garmin smartwatches and a home gym with adjustable dumbbells and adjustable bench. Feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders? Maybe you need that dream vacation. You're running out of time. Act now and claim your free prize. Don't wait any longer. Jump right into the competition. Slide right on down to the links below to claim your free prize. Free! Free, 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 free.